All right, everybody, what is going on? Good afternoon. And I was going to start talking about the upcoming draft classes wide receivers in this video, but things are happening in the NFC West, and we got to talk about it. I think this is probably going to be a little bit more compelling than talking about wide receivers that the Seahawks are very clearly not going to be able to draft anyway. So, yeah, let's go ahead and open up the can on this one. I'm sure you've seen by now. It did happen earlier this morning. I decided I wanted to let the videos I had scheduled for the morning go up anyway, and then just go ahead and address this in the afternoon. But it is definitely worth addressing. So earlier this morning, we got this alert from ESPN. Chiefs and Rams are working on a blockbuster trade that would send Trent McDuffie to the LA Rams for a package that would include the 29th overall pick. Now, the trade has now been made official, or at the very least, it's been agreed to. I don't know if it's official yet, but it's going to happen. Adam Schefter comes in with the details. The Rams have gotten Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have gotten a pretty good amount. The first round pick, number 29, like we said, the Rams' native first round pick. So that's obviously the centerpiece here. A fifth rounder and a sixth rounder, which is, it's like a little bonus on top of the trade. It's like the tax almost. And then don't sleep on this, by the way, a 2027 third round pick. And the 2027 draft is expected to be very, very strong, much stronger than this draft. So a third round pick, even if it's from a team like the Rams, who are expected to be good in 2026, that's not nothing. So the Chiefs did do pretty well here. And I know that on the surface, it looks like the Rams gave up a lot. What I would say is keep in mind that they have 2 first-round picks, and the 29th overall pick in this draft is not worth as much as a typical 29th overall pick in a first round. So, yeah, they gave up a lot, but there's a reason why they felt liberated to give up a lot in a class like this. There's a reason why I talk about the Seahawks' 32nd overall pick and find myself wishing we could trade it for a veteran, because I'm just not entirely convinced we're going to be able to get anything all that special at 32. So 29 is not that different. But regardless, the Rams get their stud corner, which they very obviously need. You go back to last year, you go back to, you could argue the last couple of years, really. They've had a hole on their roster at corner, and it has cost them over the last couple of seasons. So Trent McDuffie immediately becomes their top corner. Very good player. Only 25. He's going to be 26 right around the time the season starts. So he's going to be a good player for a while. Former Washington Huskies. So if you're a Huskies fan like me, you're intimately familiar with McDuffie. First round pick of the Chiefs in 2022. So he's been a part of 2 Super Bowl champion Chiefs teams and 3 AFC championship winning teams. And the numbers, the straight up stats are not necessarily overwhelming. I understand that. He's got 3 career interceptions, all of them in the last 2 years, but he's been a consistent force in that secondary for the Chiefs. He made All-Pro first team in 2023, made All-Pro second team in 2024. He's got a lot of production as a blitzer as well. He's got 5.5 career sacks. You take a look at his coverage numbers, they are quite strong, especially for a guy who plays on a team like the Chiefs. You have to keep in mind, when you're a cornerback on the Kansas City Chiefs, you are going to get a little bit more stress on you, because we are talking about a player that is in the secondary on a team that is going to get passed on a lot, because the Chiefs' offense is typically pretty good. And of course, he's been a featured part of a defense that has been very good for most of the last few years. I know last year things kind of went in a bad direction, but overall, Trent McDuffie has been a cornerstone of a very good Chiefs defense. Pro Football Focus has always thought highly of him his whole career. They've graded him very well. And the belief that he is one of the better corners in this league is well reflected here. 19 pressures in 2023, by the way. So you get him on the blitz, you've got something pretty strong going on there. One thing that's interesting here, and I'm gonna move my head here real quick so you guys can see where do the Rams end up playing him? Because as you can see, for the most part, the last 2 years he's been an outside corner, but the general consensus is that he's better in the slot. And you go back to 2023, which was the year he made first team All Pro, he mostly played in the slot. So I do wonder, are you going to see him maybe get bumped to the inside permanently, where he seems to be a better player? And the Rams would then be left trying to make things happen on the outside. I think they're still going to have Kobe Durant. Maybe they re-sign Witherspoon and put him on the outside. I don't know, but very possible that McDuffie ends up being more of a slot guy for them. And he can still have immense value there, don't get me wrong. Most teams live in nickel as much as they can anyway. But I do wonder where the Rams are going to deploy McDuffie. So obviously this trade was made in large part because the Chiefs are critically over the salary cap. They are way over the cap. They needed to do some stuff to get underneath it. They can restructure Mahomes. They can restructure a couple other guys. They're going to release Jawan Taylor, but they needed to do more. And McDuffie was a guy who wanted to get paid a lot of money. And if they had done that, they would have been in a ton of trouble. So works out well for the Chiefs. They get to trade him after getting a couple of Super Bowl rings out of having him. And they get to basically reclaim pretty much all of the draft capital they used to get him in the first place. So works out well for them. And obviously the Rams needed some ballers in that secondary. You look back at the 2025 season, and other than the special teams, the main problem that Rams team had was their secondary. And I think across 3 games, JSN had, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was probably around 400 receiving yards in those 3 games. And Trent McDuffie is in many ways a trade that you make because you're trying to take care of JSN the next time you see him. So it makes sense. I get it. I don't think it's a bad trade on either side. I think both teams came out pretty good here. And big picture, I know I already made a video talking about this, but the arms race in the NFC West is on. The Rams doing this does mean that they are going for it, like I said they would, which they obviously should. There's no other consideration to make. And they are going to be going pedal to the metal to try to get that second Super Bowl out of the Stafford McVay era. And I anticipate that they're not done. And I think they're going to sell their future down the river as much as they need to try to make 2026 the big year. And to me, this is the first domino, and the 49ers are probably going to be obligated to get involved as well. Although there are a couple of moving parts over there that are kind of interesting. And it's not going to be fun trying to keep up, man. One thing from Rappaport, and this does affect the Seahawks a little bit as well. Trent McDuffie, when he gets his new contract, which should be soon, it's likely that he's the new highest paid corner in the NFL. So therefore, number one, that is going to take a bite. That is going to be a big bite out of their salary cap. And they do have cap to spend, but that is going to be a big bite. Number one, because the extension is going to kick in pretty quickly because they only have the 5th-year option left, $13.6 million salary in 2026, which is actually pretty reasonable for a player of his caliber. And it's because he was a relatively low first-round pick who has never made the Pro Bowl. He's kind of gotten shafted there because he's clearly been Pro Bowl worthy, but he's never made it. So, yeah, this is this is going to be a lot of money for them. And the thing is, and I think that it's understandable why this would happen. Devin Witherspoon is going to look at whatever Trent McDuffie gets and go, I want more than that. So get that Witherspoon contract sorted out as quickly as you can before Trent McDuffie gets extended. If Trent McDuffie gets 31, then I think Witherspoon's going to want 32. Witherspoon, I'm sure he feels like he's a better player than McDuffie. And I can't say that he's wrong. Like, what's the main criticism of Witherspoon? It's the fact that he misses games. He's not somebody who's reliably out there for every snap. He does get hurt. Well, McDuffie, same thing. McDuffie missed 4 games last year. He missed 1 game each of the last 2 years before that. I think one of them was because the Chiefs are resting their starters, but rookie year he missed 6 games. So it's not like you can't make the same criticism of McDuffie. So if McDuffie gets $31 million per year, I think Witherspoon's going to be like, hey, I want 32, and he's going to have a point. All right, so that's the main stuff going on here. The arms race is on, and by the way, Nemhauser threw this onto the barbecue, which will not make Seahawks fans happy to see. I would not be surprised if the Rams go after Crosby as well. They have the picks and the player, Byron Young, to get it done. So, yeah. Now, obviously, this trade sapped a lot of the assets they had, but not all of them. They still have the 13th overall pick in a bad draft. Don't get me wrong, but they have that first round pick. They have their first round pick in 2027, which is going to be appealing, even though it'll probably be a late pick. And they also have, I think, their second rounder and third rounder from this year. That could also help. And like Hawk Blogger says, they've got Byron Young, who they are willing to part with in a trade, and that's going to be a significant piece. If they package their 13th overall pick and Byron Young together, maybe that gets it done. I don't know. Depends on how the Raiders feel about Byron Young. So this trade does diminish the possibility that the Rams go after Crosby, but at the same time, we have to recognize they are clearly in I don't care about draft picks mode. I think they're pretty clearly in that place where they go, we're trying to win right now, and we're willing to put it all, all on the line to try to win Super Bowl 61 in our stadium next year. And if that means we lose a bunch of draft picks, then so be it. All right. What do you guys think? Big trade, big moves. What's next? See you guys later. Go Hawks. Draft evals coming soon.